We're back with Harrowings in the Passing show. A little bit of who, what, when, and where here in Washington, D.C. I was looking for a bird. There was a bird up there that had very white feathers, looked like it might have been hawkish or owl. Well, I couldn't see his head, so I was maneuvering to see it and then took off, I guess. And a couple of crows, I guess, harassing it. I'm looking over at Foundry United Methodist Church. Winston Churchill spent Christmas 1941 there. You'll notice that the banners include a message that you are loved, you are welcome no matter what, no matter your belief or doubt, your age or ability, your race, color, or ethnicity, your immigration status, your gender identity, or whom you love. You are loved, and you are welcome just as you are to be met by our God, who knows you by name and loves you and wants an even ever closer relationship with you. And that's lovely. I love that message very much. My crow friend up here in the tree above, keeping that on guard. I love crows. Corvids are my favorites. I think they collect shiny things, call loudly to their friends, are fiercely protected. The Institute of Rural Politics is here. You see the flag it's flying is the old Revolutionary War period flag with the stars in a circle. Across the way is high towers, apartments. Up there, one of those, I think, close to the top. A friend of mine lived when I first moved into the area. We went on a number of dates and eventually ended up sharing a residence or two. And we've been close ever since. It's lovely to have friendships that grow from what you hoped would be more close relationships at first, but then you realize this person's more of a sister than a spouse. And that worked pretty well. I think that those kind of friendships between genders are extremely important and between people with different extractions because we're really very closely related when you get down to it. We're not very genetically diverse. And we forget that. We forget that all too easily. Life goes on. So we do have a few joining us now. Lost Vibes 100, Keegan Elliott, and Alexei Zaitsev. Good to have you with us on the Passing show as we move along through Washington, D.C., 16th Street. We'll be crossing shortly and we'll swing back around. Behind me is the White House. This is the new church. Didn't see any sign out in front of it to tell me that. That's weird. But, oh, there it is. The Church of the Holy City. Union City Church. Union City, D.C. Church is its website, Sundays 9 and 11. And it's very interesting to me because they are the Swedenborgians. It's a Church of the Holy City. Swedenborg from Sweden, of course, a scientist who had a revelatory experience, very interesting experiences there. White House straight down 16th Street, crossing back over, mainly just head up toward Tiny Vinyl on Euclid Street. And I think the best way around is to go behind Paul Sober. House on the corner has a sign out front I can't quite read. It looks like Applied Scholastics, 1623 16th Street. I think that might be the Chastleton up above a large, older apartment building. Years ago, my Aunt Rachel lived up here. I don't know exactly where. I know the sweet smell of cannabis passes me by. The Regent Luxury Apartments there, fairly new building, 202-249-0894, by appointments only. Swinging back around, joggers, pedestrians, or Norris Street, northwest and 16th on the western side, southwest corner, watching another electric scooter. Didn't see a lot of those in the past decades, but they've gotten to be very popular now. Let me go ahead and cross here as I can. There my pair of crows. Oh, yeah, there's who they were chasing. It is a hawk. They're harassing that hawk. Probably a Cooper's hawk would be my guess. And you can see the crow maneuvering, try to spook him. They're not very happy about hawks. There he goes. He's got something in his throat, it looked like. I wonder if he had grabbed a crow's egg. Hard to say. They're taking off now. And that's the end of that drama of nature. We chat like ChatGPT. Swedenborg was also a migrainer, meaning I guess that he had migraine headaches frequently. I have the aura from time to time where you see these little sparkly patterns in the visual cortex and not actually in the eye. People will call it an ocular migraine because of the flashy lights. A friend of mine, a guy named Hunter, recently got diagnosed with it. Here we are by the Masonic Temple of the Scottish Rite. Let's see if I read that right. I can't really see too well. The inscription above the door. Freemasonry builds its temples in the hearts of men and among nations. It says over the door, and there's the bigger inscription, Scottish Rite of Freemasonry, Supreme Council, 33rd degree. You can bet that the membership there is wholly exclusive. That's the museum and library. One of these days I ought to go up there and go in and find out its hours and tour it. Look at the architecture, though. Isn't that beautiful? And across the street, another one of my favorite places. We have the Ambassador apartment building, and then the Unitarians have this church. We got Swedenborgianism, Methodism, and then this. And of course, we have all the Scientologists on 16th Street as well, and Baptists, and you name it. Everybody's around. All the different religions are represented. I am, by dint of heredity, a Methodist, have been, continue to be. This one was gathered in 1875, the National Memorial Church Universalist National Memorial Church. Save DC Home Rule is on the banner, so you can bet the congregation is on the left-leaning liberal side. And this tower is dedicated to the ideal of international justice and world peace. Is a loving and grateful tribute to Owen D. Young, who I've looked up in the past to learn more about him and his contributions to society. Owen B. Young. And we got more apartment buildings across the street. People living out their lives. 2026, good weather for mayor. I don't know anything about that. I'll find out about it. You see Swan Street here is partially blocked off. And this guy wants to back up into this area. I better get out of this way. Little shabby place here called Leland. It's paint around the windows. And the Synergy Group is apparently going to sell this place. I like the kind of green stone that's got there for sale. Very beautiful architecture. Nice details. Here's a place with real gaslight by the door. Don't be gaslighted though, okay? Liberals correct people to blame. Well, I don't know. You can say what you want. I think liberal means basically that we are open minded. If it's totally liberal, if you're talking about people who wear a badge and people who are accused and use that as an accusation, what is that but becoming your opposite? You know? Becoming exactly that which you're accusing others of being. I think there's a lot of truth to that. Here's what it is. I don't think we get anywhere by blaming others. I believe that we are all equal. And glad to have a few more of you with us. It looks like Jim Fanara has joined. Yeah, Swedenborg was a mystic. I think all of us are mystics if we get right down to it. Most of us are making this up from the information that's flowing into our retinas. And then we classify it and we decide that some things are things and other things are not. But everything is merely appearances. That's what harrowing is about churning up those appearances and scraping the surface and finding out what's underneath and what creative opportunities might be there for us. Tracking a small house sparrow, a male. There's some others here. They'll probably be back around sooner or later. These hedges make good cover, don't they? Yes, they do. I'm going to be getting ready for nesting in the spring. Quite a lot of them. These house sparrows living in this quadrant. And as I pass, they react. That's fun for me. Fun for me. Fun for the feeble-minded, as they say. All right, let's see. Shall we go U Street instead? I don't know. We're at 16th Street. We could go up U and then up to Adams and Morgan, take in a little bit more of the sights and sounds of the city. There's little houses over there. Aren't they cute? Series of 3 older homes, nicely painted. It's not quite San Francisco's painted ladies, but it is what it is. Buses roaring up and down 16th Street. Just a little warmer than it need be. This kind of weather. Yeah, I think I'll turn on you and head that way. Why not? I look down this way, see down to the Lincoln Theater, Ben's Chili Bowl and all that. I was down at the Lincoln Theater catching Patti Smith's Bread of Angels on December 19th for a book tour. Look at that. Number 16 coming through. I don't know if they found their patient or not. Probably so. They're heading down towards the hospitals. Probably George Washington Hospital. We wish them the best. No, it's always the way. People are fragile. Forget it. Bonnie B's Cafe and Bistro, jazz and martinis. So while you're still among the living, there's an opportunity. And there's people, Well, let's see action. Let's see people. Now, 2008, May 3rd, I was married by the senior pastor at Foundry United Methodist Church. She was then at Capitol Hill United Methodist, had been for a while, and I'd moved into that area in 2004. Used to attend her sermons, and I liked them. I liked her way of delivering theology of the United Methodist variety. John Wesley, after all, was one of the brighter lights of the 18th century, which is really where I come from in many ways. My father, having been a research historian for most of his life, long life, 91 years. Yeah. And he was very big on primary documentation. Who, what, when, and where. Getting that information and stitching together stories of people's lives that then could be told, putting flesh on the bones of the real people who lived and worked and saw out their lives in the colonial capital of Virginia, England's largest and wealthiest colony of the New World, of the 13 colonies that left anyway. Apparently the islands, the Sugar Islands in particular, were more wealthy than were the tobacco colony of Virginia. I always thought Virginia was different, but I think I'm not wrong about that. We did enslave a lot of population for the production of tobacco and other crops, particularly agrarian use of slave labor. And a lot of people became very rich on that basis. I think that's a good analogy to what we're experiencing now, where the economy has been wickered in such a way, at least since the Nixon administration and probably even before that, to enrich a certain segment of the population and impoverish another, and basically make them sort of dependent on things being as they are, and loath to rise up lest they be inconvenienced further. And they made to feel powerless, but people have the power. And that's the message that I really get strongly from Patti Smith, along with her admonition to her crowd: use your voice. So I'm using mine. On Consciousness Expanded now, Dream Guest. On Clubhouse, we discussed Neville Goddard and Rudolf Steiner. Good. Neville Goddard, I'm familiar with. Rudolf Steiner, not as much. I can't even pronounce his offshoot of theosophy. Anthroposophy, I suppose. I'm aware of it. And I have a friend out in the Midwest somewhere who's teaching in a Steiner-based way. And that's interesting. Consciousness Expanding are doing that. You see up there, contrails of jet airliners. This is something very fascinating to me, that at any given time, somewhere around 10 to 20 million people are airborne. Didn't used to be that way. Moving at high speeds from place to place and being able to leave their traces as they go. Let's see where else we're going. I'm on the side of U Street, coming up on the intersection with Florida. This is where I started out, intersection of S, Florida, and Connecticut, and 21st Streets. And now I'm coming up on 18th. So I've made a big loop, mainly to go past Foundry United Methodist Church, where I hope to be volunteering soon and networking with the congregation becoming a member of their choir after my vocal lessons with Sonny Triple have wrapped up at the end of last year. You can catch Sonny and me on Harrowing's podcast. It had several versions, such as they are. And here was a gym. Looks like it closed up. It was a CBS day, actually. That closed up. I think Mint may still be going. I don't know. I think I got a rock in my shoe. We'll fix that when I get to my destination, which should be those brakes. Flammables, that tank. Oh, I forget what I was talking about. Doesn't matter. Probably the vocal lessons, Sunny podcast, all that good stuff. El Tamarindo and Cross here. Looking up Florida. Up and down. Truck is owned and operated by Wayne Freshman Incorporated out of Chevrolet, Maryland. And there you go. Now you know that. And these folks are standing by to serve their guests. They're coming around by what appears to be, I'm not sure. What is this now? It's changing. It's going to be something else. Honestly, maybe before I go to the. There's a substantial change. Alcohol, Beverage, and Cannabis Administration. I talked. Yeah, they're definitely redoing this place. Across the way, we've got the cake room. The grind that'll win. Andoril. Space age kind of viewpoint there. Grind that will win. I'm not sure what that's trying to represent. I'll have to look up Andoril and see what's going on with them. Again, up there, we've got another jet going by, leaving a pretty thick contrail. And the wind, high levels. And what else we got? The Blackguard. Some of my work in there with a Guinness. DC Pizza Kebab. Jack Rose Dining Saloon. Jack Rose is interesting for its sheer volume. Whiskeys. I don't know if you can see that. Not really. Too much reflection. But it is amazing how many whiskeys Jack Rose has. There's the Ashley across the street with a large apartment building. The jet heading west. High altitude. Another one over there. Let's scan the skies any time of day. Usually pick up a fair amount of jet transportation. California Street Northwest. Been thinking a lot about license plate readers and how those are being used. And actually, all of the data being sucked up into the clouds can be used, and we don't know how. Meredith joined. Good to have you. There's a place back there for lease. Chabo, dentist, Adams, Morgan Animal Hospital. Let me keep on up the street. Tennis. Looks like some soccer going on down below. I'm at another tennis court vacant. Across the way, Flower Patch Dispensary, Vegs, Prada Massage Spa, Osmo Nail Bar. UPS store, a bottle shop. I think I can do all right. I've not been working very hard this past year plus, and that's why I'm doing the passing show. I've written an article called Why Are You Here? Which I hope people will respond to. If they don't, it won't be too much of a surprise. A lot of us have no idea why we're here. If we do have a sense of purpose, great. I want to hear about it. And I don't know mine entirely beyond documenting the passing show, witnessing, as we were talking about yesterday, attempting to inspire others to remember that every cent spent is a vote for the kind of world we are co-creating together. That's the Marie H. Reed Elementary School and Learning Center. And you can see some of the little ones who are attending, having a good time. Oh, there we go. Yeah. They're easy to lose the ball over that low fence. Hopefully they won't. Oh, pardon me. So see, on the corner, down here, not much going on. Eat, drink, and sing at Musette Korean restaurant, Himalayan Heritage, Liberal Gibraltar, apartment building, Mimosa, grand opening, Mi Casita, Mexican restaurant, Logota, Italian restaurant, and the Cave, DC. I think this might have been used to be Heaven and Hell, I forget, or maybe that was down further. Pitcher's DC bar. And across the way, we've got Smash, Metropolis, Medical Cannabis Dispensary. Over here, League of Our Own, Death Punch. Don't know. They are closed. I don't know if they're permanent closed or not. The Town Tavern. It's early yet. Things aren't opening up yet. Green Island Club, Heaven and Hell. That was it. Heaven was above, hell was below. It's kind of closed up too. Johnny Pistola's. Riff Raff. Grand Duchess. Grow Club DC. Dreams. Tobacco Shop. And more, I expect. Jumbo Slice Pizza all closed up tight. Bizarre Atlas. Queen's Cafe and Hookah Bar. Man, I don't know what that is in my shoe, but it's hurting. Voice for the Voiceless, Dalai Lama. Maggie's Beauty Salon and the Tibet Shops. Everything is gluten-free at Rise Bakery. Arma Hookah Bar. Tiki on 18th is open. Oh, music coming out. Van Leeuwen. Espresso brownie fudge, that sounds good. Ice cream place. Little shop of flowers down below. Oh, they've demolished something across the street there. It's rubbles. Hana Night Dreams Leather and Lace. Restaurant space for a lease. Interesting looking building. B&K convenience store. Huh. That's a thought. Yay, Ethiopian, Bull Korean bar and restaurant. Another place for least cross away. Seems like businesses are closing up. I'm not too surprised. It's been an economic impact on this area. A chill damp of fear, I think, is gripping the economy. Well, the getting's good, I guess, or just running out of money to keep going. Over across the way, Shenanigans Irish pub seems to be still intact. What else am I talking about? Nothing much. Only had 5 of you join me today. That's all right. I do this for nobody. But the idea that it might be picked up by historians of the future, it might not be. But the body of work I'm creating is something of a biographical kind of repository. And I like the fact that Substack will reposit it on several platforms, hopefully ensuring long-term survivability of the data. Because that's what it's for, folks. It's for data. Lost City Books. One of my favorite stops. Enhancing adult motivation to learn. Watkowski. Circle Maker. It's in the window. Super Extra Grand. Sleepless. Best of Small Press. It's going to be a great place to work, huh? Cell phones inside the store. No cell phone calls inside the store, they asked. I think that's a reasonable request. Jubilee Housing across the street. Painted up. I haven't seen that paint job in a while. I haven't actually done this walk in a while. I haven't been really nice weather for it. Audio and video surveillance on duty at all times. Ooh, they're redoing Cafe Delight. I don't know what's happening. Maybe the Ukrainians who ran it went out of business. Across the way, Starbucks is all papered up. What used to be, it's no longer. McDonald's still in business on the corner. Save dollars in the app. And what else we got? Adams Morgan. Anything? Got nothing. Have a good luck. Tablet repair. A lot of them.
Oh, thank you so much. Really? Oh, probably hard.
Catching a little pictures of the primates that make up the large part of the population. You look at the species that are available in Washington, D.C. It's pretty remarkable how many of us there are. And my destination is coming up. There it is. Tiny vinyl shop. I texted Ty, found out he was indeed in the shop. So we're going to give him a shot again. So everybody was, hotel. Huh. A lot of things have come down there. I wonder what's going on with the line. Hotel. Across the way. Call your mother is coming soon. Right next door to Tiny Vinyl. That might actually bode well for their business. Might bode well for me if it's a gig. Let's see. Come on. They are indeed open. So let's see what's happening in Tiny Vinyl today. These look like Ty's in the shop. She engaged with the customer. Looks like it. And then I'm going to wrap it up here. Thanks for joining. It's going to be a private conversation.